I'm Bowen Hardman, class of 2022 with Princeton High School, and I'm committed to the Ohio State University.
Bowen Hardman,
Yes,
welcome
sir.
to What's in Your Bag. Now, this is the first time we've ever met,
Yes, sir.
all right? Now, we got connected to do this interview because of a girl I went to college with, Amy Simonson Cooper, and she knows your mother.
Yes.
She went to school with your mother, and she spoke very highly of you. She was like, you need to interview him. He is the best kid. So I just wanted you to know that.
Oh, that's
she
awesome.
thinks highly of you. And one of the reasons that we wanted to have you on this episode is because I've watched you from afar. So I've seen your journey. You're not only one of the great players in the greater Cincinnati area, you're a high academic kid.
Mm-hmm.
In your journey, you've had adversity.
Yes, sir.
And you've overcome adversity and have had success. And I think it's important for the young people out there that are watching to maybe take some nuggets
Yes,
from
sir.
your journey and apply it, to their journey. So anyone that comes on What's in Your Bag, we do a couple things. Everyone has to bring in a bag.
Yes,
we talk
sir.
about the bag. You have to bring in a pair of shoes, and then some different items that represent your journey in life and basketball. Now, I don't know what these items are because it makes the interview, free flowing, and
Yeah, definitely.
I just love not knowing. So we're gonna jump into that. So let's talk about your bag first.
Definitely. This was my Nike EYBL bag from, when was it, 2018. It was my sophomore year. And I remember coming in, getting ready for EYBL, our first session in Indiana, in Indianapolis. And I remember, so we're in our hotel room, we got all our shoes, all our bags and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they come out with our team bag. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what it's going to be. And they pull out this. And, at first you're like, oh, it's nothing crazy, nothing out of the blue. But, I started looking through it. It's got like a little cooler in there. Got the little shoe slots at two sides.
Secret zippers and stuff.
Man, the secret zippers. And, it's awesome. Like, I take it everywhere I go. When I have my Gatorade, my Propel, whatever it is, put it in there. I can fit 2 pairs of shoes in here, my contacts, all that. And it's good for school. Got my laptop and all that. So, wherever I go, it's coming with me.
So you always have it at Princeton,
Always.
everywhere you go.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Let's talk about Princeton a little bit.
Yes, sir.
How does it feel, Bowen, that you're going to go down as one of the great players to have ever played at Princeton, and the fact that your mother and father went to Princeton?
Oh, it's amazing. I don't think any kid could dream of that. Not a lot of kids get the opportunity that I've been able to get with that. With the great community, the great coaches, trainers, and especially the teachers. It's a dream come true, like I said. To go down with a lot of greats. I mean, Kelsey Mitchell, Darius Baisley, D. Davis, Jordan Seibert.
You're dropping a lot of big time names.
Man.
And you're right up there with them.
Man, it's amazing. And, every single day I walk into the gym and I see the McDonald's All-American banners, a 2,000 point club, 1,000 point club. And it's like, I want to be like that every day. I just try to push for greatness every single day. And just to be mentioned with those people is just, it's crazy. It's a dream come true. It's so surreal.
And you've put in a lot of work, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, the work you've put in. But let's talk about your coach, Coach Wyant.
Mm-hmm.
He comes over from Hughes High School, and he had a lot of success at Hughes, and he comes and he brings a lot to the table at Princeton. What has he meant to you in your game?
Oh, he's meant the world. Our first year, it's always that first year, first new coach, new player thing. And
were you worried? Were you concerned?
At first, I was like, I've never seen. I've seen him coach from afar, and it's like, man, he's crazy. But once getting to know him and knowing what he expects from you is it just shows like how much passion and joy he has in coaching, not just basketball players, but really the game. Just seeing it from a whole, and our relationship has grown even more with my second year with him. and he's been an amazing, person to talk to lean on, to get advice from, not just from basketball but school. And he's one of those, great, men out there that are great role models that I think for a lot of people. And he's one of those guys that does so much, not just for the basketball players, but for the community in general.
That's
And
important.
he's just been amazing with my journey and my jobs and everything that I've been able to do.
Now it's your signing day for
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State. Coach Wyant said this about you. He said in his 15 plus years of coaching, you are the best leader
Mm-hmm.
he's ever had. He said you are a Division I leader. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, I mean, personally, like I said, like everything he said, it makes me want to work even harder to be a greater leader. Every single day we go into practice, and like I said, he expects greatness.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're the 7th, 6th man, starter, the top player on the team. Like, you got to be on your A game, and he expects the most out of the best players. And for me, every single day, he gives me a challenge. He's like, get your guys in check, make sure you do everything right, do this and this, handle adversity. And I think that's meant the world for me, to come in every single day and just hear him, and especially in my signing day, to praise me like that. I mean, you don't get a lot of kids that are able to do that, and I'm just blessed to be able to have that ability to be able to be a leader of my team like that.
And you mentioned something, bringing it every day.
Mm-hmm.
In your league, the GMC, one of the toughest leagues in the greater Cincinnati area, you have to bring it every night. And one of the reasons you have to do that is not only you're playing against a lot of high-level competition, but Bowen, you're going against teams that have established long-term coaches that scheme very well. You've got Mike Price at Oak Hills,
Yes, sir.
Clint Atkins at Lakota East, Greg Richards at Mason, Jimmy Leon at Lakota West. I can go on and on about different coaches. These guys are OGs, and they are game planning around preventing you from having that big night.
Yeah.
Every night. How's that feel?
It's a good thing, because it's like, I can bring so much attention, and it just makes me excited, because all the other teammates I have on my team that are able to do so many things, being able to do things that I can do is a rarity, to be able to shoot the ball so well, and just, like I say, get a lot of attention on offense. But I mean, to have coaches like that come in and say, hey, we need to stop this guy every single possession. Don't even let him touch the ball, whether it's double him, face guard him. I think that's an honor, but at the same time, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
And, I want to defeat that challenge every night, especially this year.
I love it. Now, I'm a big sneakerhead.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
I think we need to dive into your sneakers.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
start with that. I have no idea what you have. Let's roll. All right.
I got my box today with
me. You got the box. We joked about that because your mother Dawn has thrown out some of your boxes, or doesn't let you keep all of them. Seems to be a little sore spot in the household, but I like it. You got the box. All right. Tell us what we have.
So I got my PG 2.5 TBs, my throwbacks, the black editions.
Okay.
So these shoes have been, I got these in Atlanta, Georgia for my EYBL session 2.
Okay.
And these shoes, and there's pictures, is when I had my breakout game against Amani Bates.
Ooh. And now at Memphis.
Yes.
One of the big stars in college basketball.
And I wore these shoes, and I ended up having around 29 and 11.
Wow.
In front of Coach Peter with Ohio State, Michigan State Coach Izzo, all the coaches you can think of in the world. I mean, we had Coach Krzyzewski, and we had Calipari watching, and I mean, it was just crazy.
So when you see those guys sitting there, I mean, do you just take your game to a whole nother level? Do you feel nervous? How do you feel in that moment? And you're playing Amani Bates, one of the top guys.
I honestly feel, I would say I feel both of those feelings. At first I'm like a little nervous, like, holy crap, like you're playing in front of some of the greatest coaches in the world, like, and then at next, like, you're ready for tip-off, and it's like, okay, here we go, like it's game time. Don't mess around, go out and kill. And it just got in me that game, like, it doesn't matter, who's watching. You go out every single day and perform, no matter who it is, whether it's the number one recruit, whoever it is, you got to compete. And I just remember going out, and I remember it was like the 7th play of the game. I get a steal, fast break steal, go up and just dunk it, hammer it, hang on the rim, swing off. And I remember, like, telling myself, holy crap, you just did that. And then I'm like, you just got to get back in the rhythm. And I remember doing that, and it was, the rest is history.
Yeah.
So
No, so these shoes hold a special place in your heart. You're gonna always keep these, right?
yes, oh yeah, yes sir,
I have some shoes like that. I have a special closet, and I'm like,
yes,
these mean a lot. So just looking at the tread on the bottom. I always look at whenever a kid brings
mm-hmm.
in his shoes. I look at the tread, and obviously you put a lot of time into your game.
Mm-hmm.
And as you talk about, playing in front of all those college coaches, you got Amani Bates, I'm sure overtime, and you got all these
Mm-hmm.
people videotaping and all that. I'm sure while you're playing, you go back and you think about all the grind that you put in the gym and the 5:30 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
workouts, all the shots you've gotten up. Talk to us a little bit about, all the off-season work you put in for the young people watching. That what Bowen Hardman is doing on the court just didn't happen
Mm-hmm.
just on a Friday night. You
Yeah.
put in the work.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is really pushing yourself each and every day. And I think the first part where I start off is looking at myself every day in the mirror and saying, how can you be better? What are you going to do today that's great? And, like I said, whether it's 4:30 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, you got to push yourself.
You ever worked out at 4:30 in the morning?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. It's a grind, but it's one of those things like it's you got to grow up. It's there's kids out there that want the same thing you want, and for me to see not just myself but my teammates do that is like, it makes me want to go even harder, because it's like you have other kids out here that want the same thing you do. And like I said, like I tell myself every day, what can you do to be great?
Yeah.
Whether it's shooting, being a great defensive player, rebounding, like anything you can think of, you got to be able to go in each and every day and work on it and believe in yourself, have confidence. I think that's the key. My success is, I've heard a lot of things about me and my game, but at the end of the day, I look at myself the same. Basketball is basketball, and you have that outside life too. I come home and come down to earth, and then, next day you're right back to it.
Yeah.
But, I think the biggest thing is always have that confidence in yourself, and, do what you love.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is what I love. This is what I want to do for, the rest of my life. But, it's something that, really brings me joy to my heart, that I can wake up to every morning and say, I've been blessed with God and everything He's given me.
Sure, and you love it. And you're wearing LeBron James
Yes,
sneakers,
sir.
and one of the new quotes that LeBron has said, I don't know if you've seen this commercial, but in the commercial he says, what you see
Mm-hmm.
is brought to you by what you don't see.
Yes.
So all the things he's doing, behind the scenes. So let's talk a little bit about your game.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen you play for years, watched some YouTube videos
Mm-hmm.
prior to coming in here. And one of the things I want to say about your game is you have an unbelievable feel for spacing.
Yes.
So I'm watching the game, and when I played for Bob Huggins, he would always talk about finding the gaps in the defense. And so I'm watching your highlight on YouTube, and you just do a tremendous job of finding the gaps, not standing in a corner or standing still, but always moving, and then coming off and reading screens.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's high basketball IQ. Where does that come from?
I definitely would say it would come from my dad. I mean, he was a baseball player, but he loved to play basketball. And that's the one thing he always was able to do is move without the ball, be able to shoot the ball and move. And he's like, that's a lost gift in basketball nowadays.
Sure. I agree.
You don't find a lot of guys that can, read without the ball. And that's one of the things that I've been able to do that's made me so successful is be able to see how the defenders guarded me, how I can get them off, come off screens, get them tired, wear them down. And I think that's an attribute that not a lot of guys have. And, to do that every single day, nonstop moving, catch and shoot, all that, it comes with a price, and that's, you got to get yourself conditioned. And, I think being in shape's huge. Being in great shape's even better.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I've been able to do is never stop moving. Because every time the time you stop moving, the easier it is for the defender to guard you. But, I've just been able to be blessed with being able to move, so well.
That makes it tough on all those coaches in the GMC.
Yes.
And they're like, man, this kid does not stop moving, so it makes it tough to game plan against you. So the other thing, too, is, I know you have that great skill of shooting, but I've seen several videos of you getting up
Yes, sir.
and dunking the basketball. I don't think enough people know that you got some hops, man.
Yeah, just a little bit of bounce. Yes, sir.
I don't think you show it enough.
Yeah, that's one of the things we've been trying to work on this year with me and Coach Wyatt is, going to the rim and really, punching it, really finishing, on guys, or, really, like you said, reading the space and getting in there and, really getting up there. I think the biggest thing comes all the way back to confidence is really trying testing it out. And, like I said, in practices, we've been doing as much as possible, and definitely trying to dunk on some guys, and I think we'll be seeing a little bit of that this year. Hopefully, a lot.
I'm going to come to some games, so
Yes,
I want
sir.
to see a dunk.
Yes, sir. I got you.
Now, we talked about the offensive end.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know there are two areas that you do need to improve on for the next level,
Yes, sir.
and that's going to be defensively and strength.
Yes,
and
sir.
that's not just you. I just mean in general, a lot of young people in high school basketball, because going to that level from high school to college, the game's a lot quicker, a lot stronger, and a lot of guys struggle defensively.
Yes.
Not to say you struggle defensively, but that's got to be something that you're working on this year to prepare for next season.
Yes, sir. Coach Holtman made a huge emphasis, on our last visit, saying, this is what you really need to work on, for you to be able to play, your freshman year. Both things, are huge. And he was like, the strength will always come. You get on campus, you'll gain 10, 15 pounds, quick right away. But he was like, the more you can get now, the better chance of you being able to come in as a freshman and make, a big impact. And like you said, defensively, it's a skill that you have to really, really work on. Not a lot of guys are blessed to be able to sit down and guard, fast, quick guys. And, for me, it's huge because it's like, I'm a good size, 6'4.5", 6'5", and I'm going to be guarding guards that are 6'2", 6'3", that are lightning quick.
Yeah.
So I got to take advantage of my length and being able to move, cross step, all those type of things, just to be able to help me, stay on the floor and get great minutes.
And, when you get to college, you're going to have all the resources, right?
Yes.
I'm sitting there, I'm watching from, I guess, his senior year to now at Ohio State, Michi Johnson, who will be your teammate. And I know his father from a long time ago. I'm watching some different, like, Instagram highlights of Ohio State's practices, and Michi is getting after it on defense.
Yes.
And he's really gotten a lot stronger.
Yes.
But that's getting a lot of those resources that you'll have in college. So the sky's the limit for you.
Yes. And credit Ohio State's team. They're a young group of guys that are going out there, the last two nights, can really compete in the last two games. And, I give props to the weight coach, just for getting them in shape and really getting them ready to be prepared to be playing in Big Ten schools. And, in my mind, the Big Ten conference is the best conference right now, I think, especially with all the guys you have in there that are really, really good, are athletic, strong. And Michi, give props to him, has done so much in the offseason to get himself ready and prepared, nonstop every single day. Even when he goes home for a little bit, nonstop
working
every day, working his butt off. And, I know all the other guys are too. And, I think it will definitely, pay off, and everyone will see it later on this season.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into your next item here. So we'll put the shoes to the side. We'll keep that box.
Yes, sir.
We'll keep that box clean, Mom.
So my next item is the Bible. Comes in handy. So this is something that, I've been reading for a while. Something that comes into my life, a lot, especially with everything that, I've gone through with my dad passing and my mom and my sisters. And it's definitely kept me, humble and kept me working to be successful, not just for myself, but to make others around me proud, like my dad. So, and my grandma actually got it for me.
Can I see it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Oh, your grandmother gave this to you?
Yes, sir. It's got a little note that she actually wrote.
I see that. As this was after your father's passing, she wrote this note, or is it before?
So that was after my grandpa passed away.
Okay. So I do want to talk about your father, about your father's passing. March 5th, 2019.
Yes, sir.
Your father, David,
yes, sir.
passed away at 43 years old.
Yes, sir.
I'm 45 years old. So when I read that, really, hit me. And he lost his battle to it was a blood cancer, right?
Yes, sir. Multiple myeloma.
Right, and year long.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you about that, because I think it's important for the young people to work through adversity and how you've worked through that, because you're always going to have that pain, the rest of your life, right?
Yes, sir.
But you've got to learn to work through that. So when your father initially, got sick, how did you feel at that point?
I think at that time, I definitely thought a lot about it. It's like, holy crap, like, cancer is cancer. And, when you hear that word, you're like, oh my gosh. Like,
serious, right?
Yeah. And I remember when he told me the first time, I remember breaking down and getting really upset. And, just I remember him telling me it's going to be all right. And, that stuck with me. And, every single day that he fought and seeing him, it's like, this is why I got to be better. I got to be better to my mom, my sisters, and just really be the best person I possibly can be. Because, someone who's fighting for their life and doing all these things is as loving and as happy as he is, it just shows why you have to keep living life every single day.
Yeah. So did you know when, it was told to you that he has cancer, did you think at that moment, oh, my father's going to die? Or did you think, oh, he's going to get through this, he's a fighter?
I definitely thought he was going to get through it. With our family, we don't take no for an answer. Like that's the biggest thing. Like, we're going to fight to the end no matter what it is. And, I was like, every single step I was with him, I saw him, like, he fought, man, like every single day, like seeing him, like, no matter what it was, he would still, every single time we come home from school, he'd still be happy and energetic after he was, on the couch all day just sick. But it just shows, like, how strong he can actually be.
Yeah. At what point did you know he's going to pass away?
Probably like 3 nights before he actually did pass away. I actually went in the hospital, and it was me and my mom and my grandma. And I remember sitting there, and what the cancer actually does to you is it eats away at kind of like you and yourself, like in your bones. It can get in your bones. And I remember just seeing him and hearing him talk, and like he couldn't breathe right because his they was getting filled up with fluid. And it's hard for him to talk, but he was still smiling, still like having fun. And he was like, everything's gonna be all right. And I think from that moment on, I was like, it's gonna be tough, but I just looked at him and I looked at my mom and I said, we'll be all right.
Yeah. So. And you become a father figure to your 2 sisters.
Yes. And every single day, I look at them and it shows me what I got to work for. And, especially my mom, looking at her, like everything she's been able to do for me and the girls, and, to keep us going and all that, like, just shows like how strong she is and how strong I need to be for the girls and give them a great role model.
Yeah. So your father, he went to Princeton.
Yes, sir.
He was also a well-known high school girls basketball coach.
Yes.
Right? He coached at, let's see, let me guess. Aiken.
Yep.
Walnut Hills.
Yes, sir.
Gamble.
Yep.
West High.
Yes.
Did I get all of them right?
Yes, sir.
How about that?
Yes, sir.
Very well-known high school basketball coach. So I'm sure he taught you a lot.
Yes, sir.
Now, let me ask you this. I interviewed Kobe Rogers, who played at St. X.
Yes, sir.
And, his father, passed away when he was 12. We talked about that. And I asked him the same question I'm going to ask you. Have you been in a game, whether it was high school, AAU, or just doing something, and you've had a sign from your father?
Yes. Oh, countless times.
Give us one.
One time we were playing, I remember and this is funny, we were playing St. X. So it was our first game, it was like our first game of the year, and this is my sophomore year. And I remember the first play of the game, I got a breakaway steal and dunked the ball. And I remember, and there's a picture of it, and it's me when I'm real skinny my sophomore year, and I'm up in the air. And I remember my mind like, holy crap, like this is for you, Dad. Like this is, no matter the thought in your head, like special. And this was, he wasn't able to attend a lot of my games, when he was sick.
Yeah.
But I just remember that moment, like it's good, like it was like a feeling you can't describe, like the goosebumps and
the emotion.
And chills, and the emotions everywhere. So
let's talk a little bit about dealing with your father's death. I don't know. I'm a big Jay-Z fan.
Yeah.
Do you like Jay-Z?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I'm more of a Drake fan.
Drake's not bad. That's Jay-Z light. That's Jay-Z light. Okay. No, he's a GOAT though. He's a GOAT.
Yes, sir.
So Jay-Z, his last album is called 444, and he really dives into himself, and he lets kind of the world, because Jay-Z's kind of private, right? But he lets the kind of the world know issues that he has to deal with. And the first song on the album is called Kill Jay-Z. You ever heard this song?
No, I actually haven't.
Kill Jay-Z, and what it's almost him looking in the mirror. You talked about looking in the mirror at yourself, and he's looking in the mirror. It's my favorite song on the album. One of my top Jay-Z songs ever, because he's vulnerable. And he has a line in there that I want to talk to you about. In this song, he says, "Cry, Jay-Z. We know the pain is real, but you can't heal what you don't reveal."
Hmm.
I am sure, and I thought about that line coming in here with you. I'm sure you've cried over and
Hmm.
over, but in order to, heal what you're feeling inside, the pain of your father's, death, you have to reveal stuff. You have to
Yeah.
cry. You have to talk to people. How have you been able to heal those type of wounds?
I think the biggest thing with me was just knowing that it's okay to be afraid, and it's okay to be weak. Everyone's human. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
hear, like you said, you hear from, celebrities, athletes, like a lot of those people, you don't get to see that pain because they've been in the spotlight so much, and it's hard to show that. But, for me, knowing that I have people around me, no matter, it's at school or wherever it's at, family, like I have people around me that care for me, and it's okay to sit here and kind of like and be weak and to just cry out and talk and get everything out because when you do that, it makes you feel better, but at the same time, it helps you grow as a person and for later on and in the moment for life.
Sure. I'm sure this season, like every other season,
Mm.
the season past, you're definitely dedicating that to
Yes,
your
sir.
father.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. All right, let's jump into your next item.
So my next item actually goes with my dad. It's actually like kind of like a little chain with him and his picture, and a picture of us when I was real young on the back of it.
Oh, nice.
And it's actually a poem that he wrote with a brand that he was with when he was in high school with girls sports called Life Game. And he actually wrote the poem on there that kind of is like the national anthem for what we as people should have our life game as.
I like that. I like that. I have a feeling you're going to be heavily involved moving forward with continuing this poem and message.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And if you don't mind me, is it okay if I read it?
absolutely.
So it starts off with, what lessons are taken from the hardwood floor, lessons intended for empowering our core. A coach's words can fill our minds indeed with a praise we brothers and sisters need. I'm good, I'm great. But who controls this common catchphrase? It's me, the life player of the game. My choices, habits, attitude, and I command. These actions are what will make my brand. This is my life game, and for this I lead. An off-court member I will surely be. The powers I have gained will make me rise to a level in society of no shock or surprise. It's my life game, and I'm in control. A message I take deep into my soul.
Mm,
Yes, sir.
that's powerful.
Yes, sir.
That's real powerful. Do you have this up on your wall in
Yes.
different places?
So we have like at my house we probably have like 4 frames, and one is in my room, one is in our living room. It's a huge one that has this written on it with that picture with him running through the camp with all the kids beside him and smacking their hands and giving them high fives and all that.
Mm. And in this poem you read, I think you said something about good and great, right?
Hmm.
I'm good, I'm great.
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned before you want to be great.
Yes, sir.
And if you look at a lot of people that have reached levels of greatness and being great, they've got a great support system,
Yes, sir.
right? I want to jump into the different support system, but first and foremost, we have to talk about your mom, Dawn.
Yes. Yes.
Prior to your father's death, what was your relationship like with your mom? And then after his death, did that relationship change?
Um, I'm very blessed to have, like I said, the family that I've been able to have, and me and my mom's relationship is like no other. And, a lot of people say that, but like there's been so many things that I've been able to go to her and talk about, and just real life stuff that not a lot of kids and young teens and athletes are able to do. And whether it's about anxiety or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
like just feeling stressed out, like we're able to have those talks, even before. And when my dad did pass away, like it just went to a whole nother level. There's
Yeah.
like a connection that it's a bond that will never be broken. It's something that only people can dream of to cherish, to be able to have somebody by your side that you can talk to 24/7. And when I mean talk, like it's like the deep conversations, the crying, the laughing with joy, and
Mm-hmm.
every single thing you can think of. Like I'm able to go to her. Like I always tell her, and she always tells me, like we're each other's rocks. Like
Yeah.
that support system that you need every single day. And every single day, I get up in the morning and I look at myself and say, how can I be great?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm like, how can I be great for not just her, but for my sisters?
Mm-hmm.
And it always starts off like that. And it's like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is how I want to support her and my family and everything that
Yeah.
comes.
Yeah. You guys cry a lot together?
Yeah, yeah, yes, sir.
That's part of the process, though,
Yes,
the
it
healing.
definitely is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure, I'm sure your father was, but you're a high academic kid,
Hmm.
and your mom probably stays on you about that.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about your academics a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely a grind. As a student athlete, it's like a job. You have your sports, but then at the same time, you got to get your schoolwork done. And I've just been blessed to be able to sit in class and really take in a lot of stuff and learn. And 20, 30, hopefully 40, you never know,
Hmm.
40 years away. But um, when it does drop, I want to be able to go out in the field and be able to have a great job and to be able to, touch a lot of people's lives, not just, with my basketball journey, but my journey as a whole.
Yeah, sure. Well, looking at you academically
Hmm.
and being one of the not only best players in our area, but the best player on Princeton's team,
Hmm.
you are impacting another generation of kids that are good players. Now
Yes.
they'll look at Bowen's the best player, and he's dedicated to the
Hmm.
classroom. So that's how I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
So you're having a lot of influence.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing. Every single day we have study tables after our practice, and all of our guys sit in the room and it's quiet. Phones are gone, everything. We're sitting here on our computers, and a lot of the guys come up to me and say, "Hey, how do you do this? How do you do that?" And
Hmm.
it's kind of cool seeing like these guys are asking me for help, and the best part about it is it's helping them and then seeing them do it like that.
Yeah.
And it's like just simple little things, and I think that's the biggest thing on why kids should be so successful is because they have people that can help them.
Hmm.
And that's always been my goal is to not just help myself or my family, but the people around me.
Is there anybody else during this journey that you want to shout out that's been a big part of your journey?
I would definitely want to say like my grandma. She was definitely a huge, help not just with getting food for us and taking care of us and all that, but she was a huge help. My uncle Mikey was a huge help, who I actually stayed with, who was my dad's best friend, forever. Was there
Hmm.
when I was born and all that. I stayed with him for, a span of 2 to 3 months, and when my dad was sick, and we got really close, and was another good father figure that I could kind of look up to and talk to about certain things. But I'd also say my sisters. When I did have the chance to stay with them and to talk to them, I think that I learned a lot from them.
Hmm.
And especially my middle sister, who kind of understood what was going on. Ava was definitely a big help, and seeing her become the young, lady and woman she'll become is amazing. I mean, she's gonna be going into eighth. She'll be going into eighth grade, and she's a character.
Hmm.
And when everything happened with my dad, it kind of hurt her, but she's been able to come out of her shell and really become this funny, energetic person, kind of like how my dad was. And my younger sister Shaylee is the same way. I mean, she was upset, but she was so young. I don't think she knew it was kind of going on. But I think she kind of helped all of us laugh at certain times in that process, because she was goofy, she was
Right.
funny, she was kind of like that light to help me kind of keep pushing, even though she kind of got on my nerves a little bit.
That's what little sisters do.
Yes, it was sibling love, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I look back and it helps me become the man I am today.
Yeah. I can tell you love your sisters, man.
Yes,
I can tell.
yes, sir.
Yeah. Mike Pilgrim
Yes,
also.
sir.
I've known Mike for a long time,
Yes.
and he was at UC for a short stint with
Hmm.
basketball. Mike Pilgrim's had a big impact.
Oh man, I mean, for a trainer, it wasn't just a trainer point of view. It was hey, you need anything, you come to me, or we can go work out. And I remember countless times he's like, if you need to get in the gym at 2 a.m., 1 a.m.,
Mm.
just to sit there and cry or talk, don't be scared to. And I remember he came over, the day that my dad passed away, and I remember we sat and cried for a long period of time, but he was there the whole night, like
Mm.
nonstop, was right next to me, and he has a great relationship with my mom and my sisters. Like, he's been such an amazing, not just person, but a trainer, a coach, a father. I know he just had a little girl too, and
Hmm.
I think that it just shows the man he is and the character that he has.
That's awesome. Mike's a good dude, man. I'm
Yes.
glad to hear that. Let's jump into your next item. I heard you got another item for me.
Yes, sir. I got one more, and this is kind of the cool, fun one. Is
Okay.
my little year beats, the threes. Dr. Dre. So
Okay.
so these are the beats that I usually wear before game days.
Okay.
You know, just not the AirPods or anything. You know, I have like the ones that just plug in your phone.
Right.
You know, that go right in your ear. That I think are the best.
These are the best.
I think in my mind, noise
Okay.
canceling, all that.
All right, we got to get you the NIL deal with.
Man, I'm working. But no, those have been, you know, key part of me being able to hone in and zone in to being able to play. And you know, I think that no matter what type of music it is, it's kind of funny because before games, I actually kind of right before a game. I listen to one jazz song,
Really?
a jazz song that kind of gets me in the get in the mood of like, I don't know why. It's just like a song that gets you in the.
That's interesting. Yeah, and we were talking about this, but one of your friends, Rayvon Griffith,
Yeah.
who we interviewed on the show, and he took us all by surprise. All the producers, Stu and Colin, we all were shocked when he said he listens to country music before games. So I'm kind of shocked you listen to jazz because jazz is kind of smooth and puts you in a real chill mode. Whereas in a game, usually people would be listening to like hype up music.
Yeah, and where I kind of like got that from, because I didn't think anything of it, but I remember watching it was a commercial. It was Russell Westbrook's commercial, and you know, I think it was actually a Mountain Dew commercial. And he was sitting here, and he was in like in the locker room, and he's listening to jazz music, and he says every single time before I play a game, I listen to jazz music, and I'm like, I wonder why. So I kind of looked into it, and it's like he says that it helps him calm, stay smooth, just real cool and collective, helps him have his inner peace and just be able to go out on the floor and not be nervous and just play.
Yeah, that's interesting because he gets wild on the court.
Man.
He got a technical the other night yelling at the refs. He need to listen to a little bit more jazz.
Man, couple songs.
Right. So, listen, you know, for me, shoes was the kind of the soundtrack of my journey. Like I can tell you everything I did, like playing at UC or whatever experience I had in life, I can always point to shoes. And a lot of times people can point to music. You know, music helps guide them, you know, through your journey. And I do want to dive into the next step of your journey, which we've talked about a little bit, and that's Ohio State.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of kids out there really want to know about the recruiting process and what you went through. Because you made your decision pretty quickly. Would that be right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's talk about the recruiting process.
It was definitely amazing. You know, I loved every single college that I went to. All the coaches were amazing. And I remember just, you know, it was young. It was like, it's not normal for a young kid like me, 14, 15 years old, to go on campus and be able to see all these big-time players and to see all the things that actually go into being a college basketball player. And I just remember, you know, going to Ohio State and the first step on campus, before we even, I got out the car, the first step, you hear people cheering everywhere. And this is 8:30 in the morning for a tailgate for the football game.
Yeah.
And, you know, at that moment, I was like, oh, something special is here.
You felt it.
The atmosphere, I felt it. And it wasn't even just that. Like, I remember we got to the front office where the coaches are out of the coaches' facility. And I'm sitting here and I'm talking to Coach Diebler and Coach Penn are the ones who recruited me the heaviest. And I'm probably closest with Coach Diebler, who I've kind of like my main guy that I talk to almost every day.
Who was a hell of a player.
Yes. So I remember, you know, we're in here talking every day, and he's like, man, he's like, you have something really, really special to offer on the table. And he's like, just keep working, keep grinding. And it was a span of like 6 or 7 visits that we went on. And, you know, I remember every one of them, I remember sitting with Coach Holtman and just learning something new every single day. Like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do that. But at the same time, he was a great, you know, not just coach, but a friend. And, you know, I know a lot of people say don't get emotionally attached to coaches or anything like that. But like right off the bat, it was one of those connections. It was like that. And the things that we were able to talk about, you know, not just me and Coach Holtman, but Coach Diebler and Coach Pete and all the coaches, like, was something special. Like, it was a family feel, a family atmosphere that not a lot of colleges could get to go to. And, you know, for a kid like me and you know, other kids out there, you know, like me that are able to see that and feel that is something special that is very surreal, that is an amazing opportunity to be in and be in the presence of all that.
And I read in an article, Bowen, that you said that there was an emotional attachment to Coach Holtman, and he reminded you of your father.
Yes, yes. He has a mindset of, perfection is never enough, and that's the same thing that my dad was like. No matter what you do every single day, it's got to be even better the next. And that's kind of the reason why, like I said, I wake up in the morning and I say, hey, how can you be great? How can you be great again tomorrow? Like that's the biggest thing that I work myself on, that I tell myself to be the best player. And that's what Coach Holtman preaches to his players every single day. How can you help our team win in different aspects, not scoring, not just defense, not just rebounding, but in every aspect of it. And how can you be the best person you can possibly be off the court? And that just got to me, like, and he was very upfront. Like, he's very real. He's not one of those coaches that say, hey, you're going to come in, you're going to play 35 minutes. Yeah. Like, he was straight up like, hey, you come in your freshman year, you might not play. Your sophomore year, you never know, you might not play. You never know what life has in store for you, but no matter what, we want you to come in every single day, and we want you to work your butt off. So when that time does come, you'll be ready.
I like that. And Coach Peden, Ryan Peden,
yes,
is a very good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. Really, really great guy. And I asked him about you. You want to know what he said?
Yes, sir.
I asked him what he thought about Bowen, and he said, you are a high character guy and a team first guy.
Yes, sir.
So as we go back and we look through, I talked with Amy Simonson Cooper, who was the one who reached out and told me I need to interview you. She raved about what a great kid you are. Your coach, Coach Wyant, raved about what great leadership. You got Coach Peden. And I believe your athletic director is Joe Roberts.
Yes, sir.
Joe Roberts worked for the UC basketball team when I played.
Oh, that's awesome.
Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
He worked for Bob Huggins. He worked for the basketball team when I played. Joe will know me. And I saw in a video where he talked very highly of you. So you just have all these people, man. You are making your mother and father and family, very proud. So whatever you do on the basketball court is one thing, but the character you show and just the type of person you are is really tremendous, and you need to be applauded for that.
Thank you. Just like I said, every single day you have to touch people's lives. I've been, touched by so many people, and like I said, I've been able to have so many opportunities that, not a lot of people get, and especially in today's society, like the only room there is for love and happiness and friendship. And every single day I go into life like never take anything for granted. Make a new friend, talk to somebody new.
For sure.
And that's how I always, roll in the school and in life, because you never know when that ball drops, and you never know when that time's up.
Yeah.
So.
And you had a chance to play at my alma mater and be a Bearcat.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not going to hold that against you, all right? I'm going to let that slide. But Coach Brandon was the coach at the time, and you chose not to be a hometown kid. Whereas, you've got who Jeremiah Davenport, University of Cincinnati, Jaron Cumberland, he stayed home, and UC's football team, there are a lot of hometown heroes there as well. But you chose to go to Columbus. How did that factor in?
Man, I mean, first off, I just want to, I love UC. That's where my dad graduated. UC has always been a there's always going to be a soft spot in my heart for them. Coach Brennan and Coach Sean Dwyer, like, those guys were amazing, when I was on my recruiting. They did stuff that I've never even, seen. I mean, they had the floor out, like, you can see pictures, like, they literally brought a couch out on the floor, had a dart, and literally talked to me for an hour. And, they gave me my offer like that. And I just remember, like, sitting there, and I broke down in tears, and we're all in tears, and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm crying. I just got offered. I'm like, holy crap. But it was like a surreal thing of emotions, and, it was a very special moment. And, I remember in my heart, I said, it's going to be between Ohio State or UC. And, for me, I think I kind of had to spread my wings a little bit. I kind of had to get out of Cincinnati a little bit. No offense to Cincinnati, because this is always going to be my home. I'm always going to come back and love and support. But, sometimes you got to get out and kind of fly a little bit.
Absolutely.
And, Ohio State's not too far away. It's perfect for me. And, I think Coach Holtman, kind of like gave me that feel like this is home. Like this is where your next life is going to be at. You always have Cincinnati. You always have UC in your heart and all that. But, for me, it was just something very special and surreal for Ohio State that just took me out of breath, and we're a place where I know is home, second home.
And it sounds like you made a great decision. Coach Holtman is a great guy who I know, great coach.
Awesome, amazing.
And you'll do tremendous there. But let's talk about, and I don't want Coach Wyant to get upset with me because we didn't talk about this coming season. What are your goals this season at Princeton?
I think definitely, first off, I think it's definitely a GMC championship.
Okay.
We have a lot of talented teams. Lakota East, Fairfield, Mason, we have a lot of stacked teams. Sycamore is going to be really good, and I think we're going to be really, really good, and I think a lot of teams are counting us out. And for me, we're going in every single day and we're grinding. And, whatever that outcome is, we're going to fight and compete every single night. And that's my goal, is to get a GMC, championship. At the same time, in my mind, I'm thinking bigger. I mean, we're trying to make a run. We're trying to go to state and bring a trophy home. We were so close in the last 15 years. We had it twice, but we were so close, and it just didn't work out. But I think we have a great group of guys that we can get there and we can do it. I mean, we've proven it. We've played some really, really good teams that are up there, and we've won. And we've played some teams that aren't as good but are right up there with them. And we've competed, we've won, we've played really well, and I think that we have a chance to have a very, very, very special team. And for me, it's not just GMC state championships; it's a regional and a state championship.
You know what's so interesting about this? You are first guest on season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Our first guest on season 1 of What's in Your Bag was Sam Vincent from Highlands. And we sat here, and Sam, being the best player on Highlands, he talked about leading his team to a state championship. And you know what he did?
We led him there.
He led his team to a state championship. And now you're the first guest, and you're saying the same thing. So I don't doubt you.
Yes, sir.
But I didn't doubt Sam, because if you, as the leader, play at a certain high level, and everybody else comes with you, and you play as a team, and you've got a great coach,
yes, sir,
anything's possible.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's look even bigger picture. All right, I really want to dive into this. When the ball stops bouncing, what are you going to do?
The biggest thing for me is when the ball stops bouncing is either I want to be a coach or I want to do something in business management or like in athletic management, whether it's a manager or agent or whatever it is. Just something that involves basketball.
Yeah.
Because it's like an addiction. It's basketball is my love, my life. Like, this is what I want to be surrounded with every single day, because it's something that I was blessed with by God to be able to love so much and be able to play at a high level with. And I want to be able to touch other kids that are playing on the hardwood floor. And that goes with a poem. Like, I had a journey. I want to tell you mine so you guys can figure out your guys' journey. And for me, being able to do that, helping just one kid, I mean, I hope it could be thousands and hundreds of thousands. Like, no matter how many it is, I want to be able to touch somebody's life, later on in life.
You're an absolutely well-rounded kid. I'm very impressed with you. And first time meeting you, very impressed. Because a lot of times I'll see all the basketball stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about doing these, that I really get to dive in. This is a long-form interview.
Yeah.
It's not like when you're on like one of the local news stations. It's like they only give you a minute 30 or 2 minutes. We can really dive into your story, and a lot of people out there can really learn more about you and who you are as a person. In my opinion, I think a lot of young people out there can look at you as not only a great basketball player and kind of follow that lead, but also look at you as a great person and follow you as a person with your faith and what you've been through in the journey with your father, all that stuff. It's just, you're very, very well-rounded, and I applaud you for that. And I think you're going to be super successful.
Thank you.
At the next level.
Thank you.
And you've got a coach that's an angel above who's watching over you.
Yes, sir.
And that angel coach he's drawing up little sets for you.
Yes, sir.
All right. And he's don't stand. You got to move. You got to come off this screen.
Yes, sir.
For the shot. So he's definitely watching over you, as well as your mother Dawn and all the people in your life, your support system. So wish you the best of luck, and I want to thank you for coming on What's in Your Bag.
Thank you.
You're the man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Now, Bowen, one of the things that people love when they come on the show, besides talking to me, is we have free food from Penn Station.
Can't go wrong with that.
You like Penn Station?
Yes, sir.
Now, you have a girlfriend, right?
Yes, sir.
You better shout her out before you get in trouble.
Yes. Hey, we're going to Penn Station tonight.
All right. Let her know. So here's a bunch of free coupons to get food.
Yes, sir.
You can take your mother, your sisters.
Yes. Yes,
your girlfriend. You have the whole crew with you, all the girls with you.
Yep, family night.
Yeah, give Penn Station a shout out if you could. Tell them thank you.
Hey, shout out Penn Station. Thank you.